Hey guys, Dollar Don coming at you here. This is the very first video that I've done on YouTube as Dollar Don. I've done my own personal ones, but and I have my own personal YouTube channel. But this one I'm doing Dollar Don's. I'm calling this channel Cast Iron Cooking. I do cast iron cooking, and welcome to the very first video. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope I have plenty more to come. So stay tuned right after the intro. Thanks. Hey guys, just wanted to let you know that I'm here today to share with you a cleaning technique that I use for my my cast iron pans. This cast iron pan was used last night, I believe, and we used it to cook up hamburger. Not sure exactly what we used it for, but we used it to cook up something and it stuck pretty bad. And what I did is I let it soak for maybe 15 minutes or so, and then I used a, excuse me, I used one of these. That's a, I guess you want to call it a spatula. It normally comes like this. And I took the handle off of it. This one is soft rubber. This one is hard plastic. These work better than the soft rubber ones. I use these as scrapers. And what I do is I take it and I scrape all the crud off. Clean it off best I can. Okay. And then what I do once that's all done is I rinse it out and I look and see if there's any more dark spots in there where it might be food stuck on, grease stuck on. I take a little bit of water, and it doesn't matter if it's got soap in it or not because the soap don't really matter. And then I take it and then I wipe it out like this, just to kind of get some of the rough stuff out. This is really not real abrasive. This is kind of used. So I'm not really worried about scratching up my seasoning, but there are some spots here that are pretty bad. I'm going to show you that in just a minute in the sink. Okay, here we are in the sink. I'm going to run some hot water up in here. A little bit of soap. I'm going to rinse this out. I'm going to take just a little bit of soap, just enough to get it a little soapy. I'm going to just run it in here real good. Some rough areas in here that I want to get some of the grease built up and some of the gook built up. I just want to kind of get it back smooth again so we got a smooth pan to cook out of next time. And I think I've got most of it. There's a little spot right in here. It seems a little rough yet. I'm not worried about going too far down because this is really not that abrasive. If I was using, stainless steel or steel wool or something like that, then it might be too much for it. But I don't ever use them in these pans. This is what I usually do after every time I'm using it, especially when it's got stuck on food. And I let it sit overnight, and I didn't clean it right away. It actually works better when you clean it, within a couple hours after you cooked on it. That way stuff doesn't stick on it so bad. But this is just in case you're lazy like me and have to, wait till the next day to go ahead and clean it out. So anyway, that's pretty much it right there. As you can see, that's pretty smooth. It's still got some dark spots right there, but that's okay. Dark spots are okay. That's just more seasoning. So, and what I'll do is I'll dry this out with a paper towel, if I can find a paper towel. Okay, I don't have a paper towel, so I'll just use a clean dry hand towel. I got a clean dry hand towel. This will work just as good, if not better. And I'll wipe this out real good. Wipe down the outside and the handle. And that's pretty much what I'm left with. Now you can see that the seasoning on the outside of the pan is built up more than the seasoning on the inside of the pan. That's because this part of the pan gets hotter because of my stove. And you know, this part gets used more. The center of the pan gets used more, where this part here doesn't get used as much. But that's okay. That's, you know, there's still seasoning here. It's just not as heavy as coated here. And we can build that back up if we have to. But right now I'm just going to wash it real quick, show you how that's done. I'm going to bring you right over here. And we're gonna set this up right here on the, and I'm gonna turn my burner on to medium heat. And once we get that all warmed up enough, you know, I want to make sure that it's, you know, warm enough to accept grease. And let it dry out a little more so it doesn't rust. Because rust is a huge problem when it comes to cast iron, as you probably know. And if you don't know, you'll find out. I've got many other cast iron pans. I got this pot right here that I've had. This one is pretty good inside. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it might show it better that way. That one's pretty good inside. The outside of it's pretty good. And I keep these oiled, and I got a lid for it. Now that lid, I don't put that on tight. I leave that loose. If I store it away in the cupboard, I take a piece of paper towel, I fold it in half, and I let it hang out here, and I just leave it loose like that, and I just let the paper towel hang out. That way that there's air getting in there, and the paper towel kind of absorbs any of the moisture into it. So that's a good thing to know too. This takes a few minutes because it's on medium, but it's warm enough now. I can't put my hand on the bottom, but this part right here is what I want to get warm around the edge. I want this to get warm enough where I can barely touch it. Then it'll be warm enough to put grease in. And you can use canola oil, spray, whatever, vegetable oil. You can use that. You can use olive oil. This is extra virgin olive oil. Let's see, what else? Oh, my favorite. Shortening. Crisco, whatever you want to use. I don't like the butter flavored Crisco for this, simply because not everything tastes good with butter flavoring into it. But that's the only reason I don't use that. Otherwise, if I was going to use it for, you know, certain dishes like, you know, butter seems to burn a little bit too. I don't know how much butter they put in butter flavored Crisco, but I just prefer the regular plain. Okay, it's getting warm. I can still hold it. So it's not warm enough yet. The handle's still pretty cool. I can feel the heat within about an inch or two coming up from here. So it is getting pretty warm. Again, you don't want to warm these up too quickly. This is a very old pan, and as you can see, it's warped. That's not supposed to happen. A non-warped pan will not do that. A non-warped pan will set. I don't know if you can see that. A non-warped pan will set. It won't spin. This one is warped. It'll spin around all day long. But it's old. I don't really know how you fix the warp into it. I've never been able to figure that out. I don't really know if you can recast it, I guess. then it's no longer an old pan, it's a new pan. I like the old pans. Now I'll come back when this heats up and I'll show you the next step. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes or so, and this pan is pretty much ready to go. The sides are warm. They're not too hot for me to grab onto. Pretty much all the way around. This spot over here is a little warmer than this spot over here, but it's probably because it's not sitting flat on the... But it's warm enough that I can hold it for a few seconds and then I have to let go. So it's warm enough. I'm just going to take some of this grease. I've got a piece of wax paper here that I use, and I go over it inside the pan. Nice coating. Now you can do this in your oven too. You set your oven on about 300 degrees, 350 degrees, 250 even. Just warm it up for 15-20 minutes. Okay. Just to give you a look inside the pan here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's hard to show. Okay, there we go. Here's the inside of the pan right there. But it's got enough grease into it for now. And we'll go back to checking it out. I'm going to let it set and heat up for a little bit, almost to the point where it smokes. I think I'm going to do the rest of the inside of the pan here and the handle. It's good to get a good coating all over the top here. I don't worry too much about the outside of my pans. Obviously, they, don't need much attention. I will. There, now it's starting to smoke. Now I'm going to take it off the heat. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sop up the rest of that grease and oil with a dry paper towel or a dry hand towel, whatever you prefer. I prefer to do this with a paper towel, but as I'm out of them, I guess I'll have to make do with what I got. Okay, and just wipe it down around the outside, get some of that grease and oil that's on there, and do your handle real good. And what I do is I shut this off. Okay, and that's what the inside of the pan looks like now. You can see that. I'm going to turn the light up here a little bit. See? Now what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take that right upside down on the burner right there. That burner will cool down. It's still hot. And it'll soak in some of that oil a little bit more, open them pores up in that metal. So, yeah, basically that's the bottom line with these things. You just got to take time to do it right and continue to do it right. Keep them dry. When you store them for any length of time, make sure that you check them every once in a while. Make sure there's no rust getting onto them. They're staying dry. Keep them oiled. If you live in a place where there's, salt air or whatever, it's not conducive to this kind of metal. It will corrode quicker than it will in a drier environment. So, any questions, let me know. Thanks.